Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to show you how to color white roses, how to make your own glittery spheres to decorate your cakes with, how to do a marbled wrap, and how to do a steampunk top tier. So first, we're going to color our roses. If you don't have time to make your own sugar roses, or you just don't want to, and all you can find is the white flowers, there is a way to color them yourselves. You're gonna add, I'm gonna leave the recipes in the video description, but basically you're gonna add alum, however you say that, to water, and then put your food coloring in there. Actually, do your food coloring first, and then add the alum. Mix it up together, and really all you do is kind of open up your roses by turning it upside down and spinning it in your hands and dip it in the colored water. Now, you're not going to get a real solid, deep color by doing this. And what I did notice is that you have to dip them a few times and kind of let them sit in the water so that they do absorb some of the water. And then once you are happy with the color, if you want a very subtle color, just dip them in another tub of water and shake off the excess. Now, I wanted more depth of color in these because I wanted a deeper purple. So I just added that water to the vase and let them sit overnight. They could have sat for 2 days, honestly, but I didn't have that kind of time. So I will show you how I deal with this in the end. But anyway, those are set aside. And another trick to those is to cut your stems at a 45-degree angle underwater. I did that at the very beginning. And that will help prevent any air bubbles from getting kind of stuck in the stems and your flowers not accepting that colored water. But now we're moving on to the steampunk element of this cake. And I have these silicone molds that I got for a wedding a couple years ago when steampunk was really in. And I personally think we need to bring that back. And I just filled them with a peanut butter flavored candy melt. What I wanted was the tan color. They just so happened to be the peanut butter flavor. So that's just candy melts. And as I was doing the rest of the cake, I was going back and forth and making more of those, what are they called? They're, they're not toggles. They are gears. They're the gears. That's the steampunk thing, isn't it? So that, like I said, that was taking me a long time to do. So I just kind of did that as I was going and put them in the freezer to firm up while I was working on the rest. So while I was telling you about that, all I did was I filled my cakes, and the top tier, I am doing my final coat in an ivory buttercream. Now, I described in the last video, maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember, recently anyways, that when you add gold to a cake, you can have different shades of gold by putting the gold over different colors. If you go with a white and you add gold, you're going to have a brighter white. And here's about half of the gears that I ended up with. But yeah, so you're going to have a brighter gold with a lighter undertone. And I wanted more of a true gold, so I went with an ivory. You could use light brown, you can use brown, you can use gold. You can even do it on black. Honestly, you can. So anyway, next step, I need to tell you what I'm doing here, is you can make these edible. I just went with the styrofoam balls. And first, I'm dipping them into a purple-colored candy melt. Or no, just chocolate. I used white chocolate on these, didn't I? And I stuck them with a toothpick, and that's how I am dipping them and removing the excess. If you want to do them 100% edible, you could just use a sphere mold and do solid chocolate. Now, you're still going to need to put a toothpick in them if you want them to stick in the cake. And the solid spheres, you're going to be able to insert that toothpick easier than if you do the halves that are hollow and then stick them together. So anyway, the chocolate is setting up, and meanwhile, I am making my glitter coating. Now, like I said, I will add a link in the description, but it's basically water with tylose, and then I heated it up, and I added the tylose to a point where I got a consistency that is this consistency. This was my first time doing this, so I was figuring it out as I went. And basically, you need it to be thick enough to stay on the ball that you are dipping, but not so thin that it's going to, you want it to be thick enough that it's not going to drip off, basically. So, and I did remove the any lumps by putting it through a sieve. Like I said, I'll link the details in the video description. And this was something that I found on Instagram. So I'll try to, I think I have the information saved on who did it originally, who gave me the idea. So I'll try to tag them. But now we're going to do our edible image transfer, or wrap, I guess is a better way to put that. So I just rolled out my fondant that I colored purple. I just picked a color out of this color palette here that I thought would be more neutral background. So I did the purple. I felt like there was a little bit more purple. And then I'm just brushing on some piping gel to stick the images to. And I found the images, I Googled free printable images, and I specified I wanted the marble look. And this is what I found. And then I had just attached them, cut the excess off around the images, and then attach them, like I said, with the piping gel. Use the acetate sheet coated with some shortening to turn it upside down. And then the bottom tier is all buttercreamed. I didn't show you how I did that. I showed you the top tier, but you can figure out from the top tier how I did the bottom tier, and just lifted up and wrapped it around the tier. Now, I do want to say, when it comes to the pattern here, I was not able to line it up to where it was seamless. The best way to do that is, if you have images, to print at least one of them in reverse. That way you can have more of a continuous flow of pattern in reverse and upside down. And it should, I hope that makes sense. And it should be a seamless flow. We were having problems with the printer, Addie and I. So I just had to work with what the printer gave me. If you work with edible printers, you understand what I'm saying. They're great when they work, but when they don't work, oh my gosh, you want to pull your hair out. It's still worth the money though. Anyway, so I attached the gears with just a little buttercream on the backside, and then I airbrushed with gold luster dust mixed with Everclear. And this was the depth that I got overnight. And it was not deep enough. It was more kind of the edged out in the purple. So what I decided to do was just go in with my airbrush and use purple airbrush color, and I just airbrushed them. You could just do that from the start if you want. But if you have more time and you want to soak them or leave them to sit for a couple of days, see if you get more depth out of it, more power to you. Go ahead and try it. It didn't work for me this time. I didn't have more time. And if you're going for just the edged out look, then it's perfect. And of course, when you airbrush, you're not going to get the color all the way in between the petals because there's too many crevices. And that was okay. I was fine as long as I had the depth of color on the outside. And I like to pull those outside petals down because that kind of fills in gaps more. And then I'm just arranging my flowers. I had wrapped the stems in floral tape. And then I am just adding some of these. These are just gold-coated rock candy that I did in a video previously, and I had extras. And I thought that would be a good addition to kind of tie in the two tiers together. I just wanted one more thing. So I decided to go ahead and use those, and I attached them with some piping gel. All I did for those is I took some rock candy, mixed some Everclear and gold luster dust in a plastic bag, and then put the rock candy in there, mushed it around, and then put them on a towel to dry. And final touch was a coating of some confectioner's glaze to add some shine. So I hope you liked it, guys. Hope you learned something. And please like, subscribe, and share, and do all the things. And we'll catch you on the next one.